we're in we're in bigger changing rooms, but then not too far down over there, far away from us at the time was the first team players, and it was like when you're a schoolboy before you go to Shenley, you're getting told these stories about, how well that someone's doing, i.e. someone like Jack Wilshere. And you're going into the building and then it's just like, I wouldn't say that it's overwhelming, but it's just, especially as an Arsenal fan, you're just excited to just be present within Arsenal Football Club's training ground.
You made it to the youth team. One big question I've actually never, asked anyone in your age group. What was Steve Bould like? Because I remember being on like, I don't know if it was your age group actually, yeah, but I remember being on like the coaches, yeah. So we used to travel under 16s and then under 18s sometimes together, away and stuff. And say, for example, you guys would be on one pitch, we'd be on the other pitch.
Yeah.
And we knew that, like, that's what we were waiting for. Like, our game finished. What was your game saying? Obviously, wanted you guys to win and whatnot. But most importantly, for us, like, the banner and that, like, hearing through the wall what was going on. Like, how was Steve Bould as a youth team manager?
Steve Bould was a very good manager, like, he was the first sort of assertive manager that I've come across. So, like, at the time, I didn't know, like, that would be, like, a very good, like, learning curve for me to push on in my career, because there's so many managers that, are very assertive. And there's some managers that, when you're growing up, you're used to, coaches, I wouldn't say not being assertive, but they're more... Pardon?
Not managers. Managing and coaching are two different things. Coaching is like what you just spoke about with the mannequins, the technical side of things, tactical and whatnot. But management is like just the other things, like maybe trying to screw something in your head, maybe to make something stick, or those type of things. Yeah.
So he was very assertive, like pretty strict. If you done something wrong, trust me, you're gonna know about it. And you get me, you had to learn how to deal with that fast. But on top of that, like, he was a very detailed coach. So all of like some of the stuff that I was talking about in terms of the training stuff, working around mannequins, intricate passes and little details over mannequins and whatnot. Like, I learned majority or some of the advanced stuff from him. And obviously experienced pro as well. So even though he's a bit old school in terms of, where the time that his era of when he used to play, he was still very knowledgeable on how to play. And even before my age group, he was pretty successful with the older age groups that were above mine. So you already know, like, his pedigree was different. So he was definitely one of my best, like, coaches. But at the time, I guess, didn't really appreciate it, I would say.
Yeah, I think maybe the reason why you might not appreciate it is because you're at Arsenal already. So that kind of, for most people anyway, that kind of overwhelming feeling kind of, for me, I'm just speaking for myself, like, kind of dies off a few years in. You were there from 8 years to 16 years old. I don't know what team do you support?
Arsenal.
Okay, you support Arsenal. So maybe for you, it was a little bit different. I didn't support Arsenal. So for me, it was like, yeah, I'm a baller. I play for Arsenal. It is what it is. It's the norm, innit? But you realize when you step away, for example, like, I was there. I was actually, one of the ones, like, people would look at. And, like, you had Steve Bould as your youth team manager. That is mad. Like, when you think about it, like, not many people get the opportunity to have a Premier League winner as their, mentor and someone to lean on. And especially in your position, what did you learn from him being a defender?
Yeah, so he, like, showed me, like, little details about even how to approach like heading the ball, and different techniques on how to be more comfortable and like clipping a ball with your weaker foot. But yeah, like I remember when we used to do like double sessions, you'll get some of us defenders out, and then we'll literally just be working on heading. And then let's say obviously some of us might be not too great, might be missing a couple of headers. Obviously we're practicing. Then he'll come through, make us step aside, make someone clip a ball to him, show us the technique, and he's like literally launching the ball with his head. And we're like, bro, like it's just amazing to a certain extent, sort of thing. So it's like he's telling us what to do. He knows what to do, and he's showing us how it's done as well. It's like, he's not just any guy in this thing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many coaches out here. Like, doesn't mean that they lose their credit, but over someone that's actually played and can show it as well, that's like extra touch to being a coach, really, if anything. So I learned a lot of things. Well, it's like my defensive body shape as well when defending. When a ball's like, let's say an attacking mid is driving at my defense, I'm at right back instead of facing outside. Instead of facing outside of the pitch towards my wing, I should be facing inside towards my defenders, just in case that ball gets slipped in between the defenders and the right back. Because again, like at Arsenal, when we used to look at video analysis, we'd look at over the mistakes. So when I'm doing that particular mistake that I just mentioned, you get me, I know that I have to change my body shape, and then those sort of things stop happening, and it's just things like that you start clocking. And that's what I'm saying, like in terms of his experience and what he brought to the table for us and myself especially, like can't even, it's just undeniable basically.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously speaking, the last thing I'll say on Arsenal as well, you started off at Hale, in terms of facility wise, on the football pitch, the best grass you could ever play on, as a youngster. Moving over to Shelney, London Colney, you have that magnified. How was that for you? Do you remember like your first week moving up there? What were you feeling? What kind of things did you see different? How an environment like that, such an elite environment, how they move, especially being an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, so there's so many different aspects to like look at it. So obviously we're in we're in bigger changing rooms where pretty much rubbing shoulders with the groups that are 1 or 2 years older than us in another change room, then the reserve team footballers that are in a next change room not too far, then not too far down over there, far away from us at the time was the first team players. And then it's like when you're a schoolboy before you go to Shenley, you're getting told these stories about, how well that someone's doing in the reserves and they get a chance in the first team, i.e. someone like Jack Wilshere. And then obviously there's other players that I can mention as well. But you're going into the building and then it's just like, I wouldn't say that it's overwhelming, but it's just, especially as an Arsenal fan, you're just excited to just be present within Arsenal Football Club's training ground. Then the facilities that are at your disposal, the gyms, crazy, nothing like compared to what we had at Hale End, do you get me? So even having that there to access, the pitches, of course, creme de la creme, then the kit that you're even being given kit with your squad number on it and all of that sort of stuff. So you're even getting excited about that sort of stuff, like, and even the food from the chefs. Like, so listen, yeah, it was different still. Like, it was good, and especially coming up. I don't know about other age groups, but my age group, a lot of us actually got a scholar, so it felt like we was quite a close age group as well. So we all used to talk, we used to like banter with each other and whatnot, and it just felt like we had a little bit of a family. So being able to go into that process with many of my friends, family sort of thing, like it just felt pretty comfortable, but like less nerve-wracking than just going into a club. or going up into your first year scholar with only 2 or 3 people, and then the rest of the people are like older or foreigners that have come in. Well, it's not the same for every single club, but do you know what I mean? So no, it was good, man.
Last question on Arsenal. If obviously we don't tend to live with regrets or anything, but what's one thing like you would tell yourself, or whether that was one of your teammates you were playing with at the time, don't do that, try to stay away from that, or what sort of things, not saying you did get caught up in anything, but what sort of things would you give your younger self or anybody watching this in that exact position? What advice would you give them when they're so near like to that environment and so near to, accomplishing just step one of their goals?
So two things I would say, like, again, it might not be the same for everyone, but like, sort of be aware of your mentality has to be like different to when you was a schoolboy. Like, you gotta be dedicated, disciplined towards football in general. Again, when you're young, you're probably naive to it, but like, try to set out some goals, some achievements that you want to do within the season, and then those little goals will build up towards, you potentially getting a first team opportunity. But then outside of all of that, I would say, like, just work on your craft, like work on your weaknesses, like as much as you can. Just try and better yourself, even if it's just like 0.1% each day. Like, as time goes on, you're going to be so much better, especially when you're older as well. Look over games that you play in or training, if you have that at your disposal. Look over your training training days. Learn from your mistakes. Don't allow your mistakes to become like, don't allow your mistakes to like just lie in your head and allow it to affect you, because like, everyone makes mistakes, but if you learn from your mistake, you're only going to get better, sort of thing. If you just like lie and just think about your mistakes 24/7, it's not gonna give you the confidence to push on to be the player that that you can be and that you want to be as well. So those are the two things that I would say, really, to my younger self as well, or to any other footballer, before anything.
For more content like this, like, share, and subscribe.